Hey there, this is Joe Van Cleve. Welcome to my office. Today I'm going to try a little experiment. See, I have a problem here. I have a couple problems. First of all, here is what I got. I got 4 rolls of black and white film. I don't know how long it's been since this film has been exposed, sitting around. I think 2 of these rolls have been around for a couple years. So anyways, I got 4 rolls of film. I don't really know what's on them. But what I think I want to do is I want to develop them and see what I get. So let's go out to the dark room. I'm going to try the 1 roll of FP4 that had the label maker label on it, because it probably was shot with a point and shoot camera, which means the exposures were probably halfway decent. It wasn't like I was using a manual camera. But anyways, let's go out to the dark room, and welcome to the little cramped dark room. If you've seen my videos, some of my earlier videos, you know I have a little 6-foot by 6-foot darkroom. So what I have here is an assortment of chemicals. So I have an old box of Agfa Rotenol, a bottle that's 3/4 used up, and it's probably over a decade old, and I don't think I'm going to use that. Then I have this bottle of HC110, but if you look on the up here near the top, there's all this crusty dark stuff in the bottle that's like on the inside of it, like crystallization or something, and I think this bottle is wasted, unfortunately. But I do have this bottle of RO9 One-Shot that looks pretty good, and there's no crystallization along the inside of the bottle, so I think I'm going to use that. So the next thing is I have to figure out my developing times and what kind of dilution I want to use. So on this bottle of RO9, on the back label, there are some recommended developing times, and for Ilford FP4, if you're using a dilution of 1+25, it recommends 8 minutes, and if you're using a dilution of 1+50, it recommends 18 minutes. Well, being as how I don't really know how old this stuff is, I think I'm going to go for the 1+25 dilution, a little bit more concentrate in there. Generally, the stronger the dilution, the more grainy it'll be with this, but at this point I'm not as much worried about granularity as I am just making sure that I get a good development. So I'm going to try the 1+25 at 8 minutes. So we're going to get set up here and do that. Aha! My changing bag. I couldn't find it. It was in the loft. I needed the changing bag in order to load the film from the canisters into the developing tank, and I had reorganized my garage, workshop, darkroom a couple months ago, and for some reason I packed this away in a box way up on the loft. Anyways, got it now. Let's go get set up. Okay, so I'm going to get all the stuff together I need for the changing bag for putting the film in. First of all, I have this Jobo Unitank 1500 system. So this is a daylight changing tank. It's plastic reels, but the Jobos are pretty good. It has 2 35mm spools, for you can develop 2 35mm rolls at once, or you can take one of the spools and you can split it, widen it, and make it into a medium format spool, and you can fit 2 120 rolls on 1 spool. But we're going to do, just as an experiment for now, we're going to just do 1 roll of film, this FP4 film. So you need some kind of a way to open up the canister. I used to have a better can opener thingy, but I got this little thing here, this kind of beer thing opener, and hopefully I can open up the canister and the changing bag okay. Scissors, you got to have scissors to trim the edge of the film so you can feed it on the roll just right. I haven't done this in a long time, so we'll see what happens. Okay, hopefully it's loaded right. So I had a problem because I haven't done this in a while, but I'm hoping that the film is wrapped in a spiral on the tank. I'm hoping that the film didn't jump the track, and I hope it's not 2 layers touching, because if that happens, then we're going to have some bad problems with some of the pictures. But we're just going to go ahead with it and see what happens. So I'm getting all the stuff out of my changing bag. You have to mangle the little canister to get it open with a can opener, and here's the leader, right, and all that. So, okay, let's go develop some film. Well, let's talk about how we're going to calculate the dilution of the developer. So let's look at a paper here. So I have 16 ounces is the quantity, which actually is 475 milliliters. I'm going to do the calculation in milliliters because my beakers and stuff are in milliliters. So I need 1 part plus 25 parts equals 475. So 26x equals 475. X equals 475 over 26, which is 475 divided by 26 equals 18.3 milliliters of concentrated developer mixed with the rest to make up 475 of water. That should be my proper dilution. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's review what we got. So we have our 1 to 25 dilution of RO9 developer, and it's pretty close to the required temperature of 68 degrees. We have stop bath, which has to be a mild acid. I didn't have any indicator stop bath. I usually use white vinegar if that's the case. However, I didn't have white vinegar. So what we have is apple cider vinegar mixed maybe 1 part that plus 4 parts water maybe. So that might be questionable in terms of leaving residue on the film. Hopefully not. And then we have some Kodak stop bath diluted 1 to 3 actually for the stop bath. Have a little timer because we're doing inversion. We're going to fill the whole tank up to the 16 ounces, and then we're going to do inversion for the first couple minutes, and then once every 30 seconds or so. So again, the bottle says we're going to do for 8 minutes at FP4 at 1 to 25. So I'm going to set 8 minutes, and I'm going to start it. So I like to wrap the bottle on the table to dislodge the air bubbles, and I'm going to invert for the first 30 seconds. Okay, basically every 30 seconds we're going to do 1 or 2 inversions, and that's what's going to happen until we get to the end of our processing. Okay, we're coming upon our last inversion. This is 30 seconds to go. Again, I tap the bottle to dislodge any air bubbles, otherwise it causes little circles in the image. We'll start pouring this out. And I'll throw in my mild acid stop bath. And we will count up. I'm going to just do a continuous inversion for about 30 seconds. There's my apple cider vinegar. So the film has hopefully been developed, and the development process has stopped now since we've changed the pH of it. And now what we want to do is fix the film. So I'm going to set it for 5 minutes. We're going to basically do agitation every 30 seconds or so for about 5 minutes. Start it. Okay, we're down to about 10 seconds or less on the fixing process. I'm going to pour the fixer out to this beaker, this cylinder. And I have some water just to do an initial rinse before I open this up and see what we get. So I'm going to just agitate this for a little bit, just to do a little bit of a rinse. So we'll call that an initial rinse. This is fixer over here. So let's pop the lid. The see if we have any results at all. Well, let's see. Find the end of the film first. Let's see what we get. Hey, look. There are pictures. Lo and behold, I got negatives. We're going to have to finish rinsing these and we'll maybe take a look at them. So I'm using one of these rinsing hoses for the Jobo that has these two little lines on it. And there's a little hole, and if you put your thumb over the hole, the water level should rise up to between the two lines if you're using the right flow rate of water for rinsing. It's not that critical, but it's an old darkroom thing that I got. So basically, the water in this sink goes outside and waters my landscaping, because I do live in a desert-like climate here in New Mexico, so we kind of want to save the water. So there you go. It's going to rinse for a while, and then we're going to do a final rinse and dry it in the film drying cabinet, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so we're about done with our rinse. So this is just city water. What I have here is distilled water with a 1 to 200 mixture of PhotoFlow. PhotoFlow is Kodak's surfactant that helps the film dry without getting water spots. And what I've done here is, if I do this right, I've mixed up only enough to cover the one film reel. Remember, we had two reels in there, but only the bottom one had film. And I'm going to just let it sit in the PhotoFlow for a minute or two and just let it soak up that soapy solution. And then I'm going to take it over to my film drying cabinet and hang it up on the film drying cabinet. So what I have here, silhouetted against the heat lamp of this film drying cabinet, is my developing tank. And so before we actually close this up to dry, we can take a look. It looks like it might have some pretty good pictures there. Hard to say. Hopefully we will have good results in a few hours when it dries. I just had a few thoughts here while the film is drying behind me in the cabinet there. So this thing about the dilution, there's a thing with black and white film developing where the way you develop it can affect the granularity of the image, how the silver grains clump together. There is kind of a black art science to the optimal kind of development regimen for the kind of pictures you shoot. So for our purposes here with this FP4 film, it's a kind of a medium speed film. It's not real fast like Tri-X. It doesn't have as much of a problem with granularity, but we did use a normal agitation method once every 30 seconds, so it could be pretty contrasty and pretty grainy. We'll have to see. Well, I think the lesson for today is don't throw that film away. You know, if you have a handful of rolls of film, a black and white film that have been laying around, and you think, oh, there's nothing on them, it's just junk. Really, you know, if you have your basic process down and you know how to do it, and you haven't forgotten it like me, I remember most of the steps and things I had to do, it looks like the results work pretty well. So I'm pretty surprised we got some good results. Well, until then later, this is Joe Van Cleve. You have yourself a great day. Thanks.